Imagine England in the 1960s, a time of cultural revolution, music, and freedom. Yet, beneath this vibrant facade, a sinister story unfolds. The decade was marked by a profound transformation. The Beatles serenaded the airwaves, miniskirts defined fashion trends, and the youth embraced an era of newfound liberation. But not all was as bright and cheerful as it seemed. In the shadows of this cultural euphoria, a dark narrative was taking shape in the heart of Manchester. A tale of horror orchestrated by Brady and Myra Hindley, the infamous Moor's murderers. This period, often celebrated for its artistic and social breakthroughs, also harbored a chilling contrast. While many danced to the tunes of the latest Beatles hit, others mourned the loss of innocence and safety, snatched away by the heinous acts of Brady and Hindley. The duo, masquerading as ordinary citizens, were secretly weaving a gruesome tapestry of crime and punishment. Their story begins innocuously, with a meeting that would evolve into one of the most terrifying partnerships in British criminal history. Together, they embarked on a sinister journey marked by deception and brutality. Their victims, unsuspecting and innocent, were lured under the guise of kindness into the bleak expanses of Saddleworth Moor. As the 1960s marched on, the stark duality of this era grew ever more apparent. The same streets that echoed with the sounds of joy and celebration also whispered tales of sorrow and despair. This facade of freedom and progress masks a chilling narrative that would soon shock the nation. Behind every mask of normalcy, there may lurk a horrifying secret. In the quaint, bustling streets of Manchester, a seemingly innocuous relationship was blossoming between Brady and Myra Hindley. But beneath the veneer of a typical romantic bond, something much more sinister was taking root. Initially, their connection appeared conventional, the kind of love story found in any town. They met through work in the early 60s and quickly found common ground. However, their shared interests were anything but ordinary. As their relationship deepened, so too did their discussions, which darkened considerably, revolving around mutual fascinations with Nazi ideology and sadistic crime. This grim intellectual pairing soon transformed into a more ominous collaboration. Brady, already harboring monstrous intentions, saw in Hindley not just a companion, but an accomplice. Hindley, captivated by Brady's intense personality, became increasingly willing to cross moral boundaries. Together, they began to plot a reality as dark as their fantasies. As their bond deepened, so did their dark desires, setting the stage for a series of chilling events. The desolate Saddleworth Moor becomes the stage for a series of macabre performances. Nestled in the rugged landscapes of northern England, Saddleworth Moor stretches vast and barren. Its isolation and the chilling wind that sweeps across the heath made it a perfect, clandestine backdrop for the hideous acts that were to unfold. Here, the bleak, unyielding terrain became a silent accomplice to Brady and Myra Hindley, a couple whose ordinary exteriors belied their sinister intentions. It was on this desolate moor that the couple brought their first victims, Pauline Reade and Kilbride. These innocent souls, merely children, were lured with the pretense of a lost glove or a ride home, simple tricks tailored to ensnare the unwary. Pauline, only 16, vanished on her way to a dance, her disappearance marked by a haunting absence. John, a 12-year-old, was similarly deceived and led away under the guise of goodwill. The moor, with its vast expanses, became their grim stage where these tragedies were meticulously executed. The isolation allowed Brady and Hindley to carry out their ghastly deeds without interruption. The silent peat bogs bearing witness to the cruelty inflicted upon these unsuspecting victims. What happened on those moors is a chilling testament to the depths of human depravity. Each act, meticulously planned and executed with cold precision, left a scar on the landscape, one that would not easily fade. The quiet moor hid the dark deeds as the list of victims began to grow. What transforms a person into a monster capable of such heinous acts? This question echoes through the haunting saga of Brady and Myra Hindley, whose meticulously plotted crimes cast long shadows over the moors of England. Brady, an articulate yet deeply disturbed individual, found a willing accomplice in Hindley. Together, they orchestrated a series of abductions that preyed on the innocent. Their method was sinister yet systematic. Hindley would drive around suburban neighborhoods, luring children and teenagers with a friendly smile or an offer of help. Once these unsuspecting victims were in her vehicle, they were driven to the isolated expanse of Saddleworth Moor. Here, on these desolate moors, the true horror unfolded. Each victim was subjected to unimaginable terror, manipulated, assaulted, and ultimately murdered in cold blood. The couple meticulously planned each step, ensuring they left no trace behind, burying the bodies in shallow graves scattered across the bleak landscape. The psychological aspect of their crimes reveals a chilling detachment from humanity. Brady particularly was obsessed with Nazi ideology and saw these acts as exertions of power and control, mirroring the authoritarian figures he admired. Hindley, on the other hand, driven by a twisted love for Brady, participated fully, her actions fueled by a misguided devotion that knew no bounds. Their selection of victims seemed opportunistic, targeting those they perceived as vulnerable or easy to manipulate. This predatory behavior showcases a profound lack of empathy, a characteristic often found in those who commit such macabre acts. Each murder was not just an act of violence, but a ritualistic performance that gave them a sense of superiority and control. With each victim, their methods became more refined, their actions more chilling. This progression not only demonstrates their growing comfort with their roles as predators, but also highlights a terrifying escalation as they sought to perfect their method of murder, leaving the community in an ever-growing state of fear and bewilderment. The curtain begins to close on this grim performance as justice starts to peek through the shadows. Brady and Myra Hindley, whose sinister deeds had cast a long shadow over Manchester, were finally caught in their own web of deceit. The unraveling began with a mistake, a forgotten clue left behind in their latest crime. A witness, David Smith, Myra's brother-in-law, horrified by what he saw one fateful evening, decided to break the silence. He approached the police with a detailed account of what he had witnessed at Brady and Hindley's home, tipping the first domino in what would become a relentless pursuit of justice. The police were meticulous. They gathered every shred of evidence, from routine surveillance to detailed interrogations. The breakthrough came with the discovery of a suitcase belonging to Brady. Inside, the police found photographic evidence so damning it left no room for doubt. Pictures of the moor, eerie and desolate, hinted at its grim secrets, while tapes recorded by the couple captured the haunting last moments of their victims. The community, once a silent backdrop to these horrors, became instrumental in the investigation. Tips and leads poured in as the public rallied together, driven by a shared sense of horror and the desperate need for closure. The moors themselves, vast and unforgiving, were combed over by police and volunteers, inch by painstaking inch. As the evidence mounted, the facade that Brady and Hindley had so carefully constructed began to crumble. Their trial was a spectacle, one that the nation watched with bated breath. Each testimony, each piece of evidence added weight to the scales of justice. Finally, the verdict was delivered: guilty. The relief was palpable, but so was the sorrow. The community, though victorious in their quest for justice, was forever altered. As the gavel fell, so did the facade they had so meticulously built. The aftermath of a nightmare leaves a lasting echo. The Moor's murderers not only shattered the peace of a community, but also left a profound impact on the entire nation. The terror sown by Brady and Myra Hindley stirred a national awakening to the horrors that could lurk behind seemingly ordinary faces. In the wake of these appalling crimes, law enforcement underwent significant changes. The investigation into the Moor's murders pioneered new techniques in criminal profiling and forensic science. These advancements allowed detectives to delve deeper into the minds of perpetrators, understanding not just the how, but the why behind their actions. Public awareness, too, was transformed. The brutality of the crimes committed by Brady and Hindley led to heightened vigilance in communities, reshaping how parents and children viewed stranger safety. It was a somber lesson in the importance of community and the need for collective vigilance. Though the criminals were caught, the scars they left on the community and the nation remain deep and visible. In reflecting on such darkness, we seek to understand the incomprehensible. The tale of Brady and Myra Hindley, known as the Moor's murderers, unravels a chilling narrative of cruelty and manipulation, set against the backdrop of the seemingly vibrant 60s. Their sinister partnership formed under the guise of normalcy, only to orchestrate some of the most heinous crimes England has ever witnessed. The desolate Saddleworth Moor served as the stage for their grim theatrics, where innocent lives were cruelly snatched away. Their meticulously planned atrocities not only claimed lives, but also cast long shadows of fear and despair across communities, leaving scars that are felt even today. Delving into their twisted psyches, we uncover a labyrinth of dark desires and depravity, a stark reminder of the depths of human malevolence. These explorations are crucial, not just for historical record, but for psychological and sociological insights, offering lessons on the importance of vigilance and the complexities of human nature. By exploring these shadows, we hope to ensure that such darkness does not find its way again into the light of our days.